Good morning and welcome to Live from Curry Tech Extension. My name is Cameron Lowe, your County Extension Director, and here with me today for our live presentation is Tom Harrell. Tom, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Tom Harrell. I'm the director for the Currituck County Rules Center, and I also head up all the 4-H horse programs for Currituck County.
Awesome. Thanks for being here today, Tom. On today's episode of Live from Curry Tech Extension, we're going to cover cleaning tack, and we're going to identify parts of that tack and equipment. So before we jump in, I just want to remind everybody to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/CurryTechCES, and click on that bell to receive notifications. That's going to let you know anytime we post new videos, anytime we go live. If you've got any questions during the class, make sure you chat to us, type them in the live chat, and we'll answer those as we go. And then if you're watching the recording of today's class, you can email, call us, or connect with us on social media to ask those questions as well. So without any further ado, we're going to jump right into this. Tom has actually prepared a wonderful video on cleaning tack and equipment. So we're going to jump into the video. Again, as it plays, if you guys have questions, type them in the chat box on whichever platform you're using, live chat on YouTube or the chat window there on Facebook Live, and we'll be sure to address your questions as we go along. So without any further delay, here he is.
Good morning, my name is Bridle, and welcome to another edition of Live with Currituck Extension. Today we're going to go over cleaning tack, and I'm going to start with my work tack. It's really good to keep all your tack clean, and I like to take my tack completely apart when I'm cleaning it, just so I can see if anything is about to break, if it's in good working order. You don't want your tack to break while you're riding your horse, of course. So I usually take everything apart. And what you're going to need to start with, you're going to need some good rags, old rags, and you're going to need some leather cleaner or conditioner. So what I like to do is, like I said, I like to start and I just take everything apart. And we're going to identify the bridle as we take it apart. This is a Western bridle. So this is a cheek piece. This is another cheek piece. Of course, it has two cheeks. And then this is your crown piece here. And this is the ear piece. This is a one-ear bridle, and this just slides right off so you can clean it really easily. And what I like to do after I take it completely apart, this is the crown piece, I'll just take this spray and I just hold it over so I don't get anything dirty, get it messed up, because this is oily and you don't want to leave the residue on anything. But I just usually just spray this down. And after I spray it, I'll take an old rag that I have and I wipe it down. And I will have to admit, I am the world's worst for not cleaning my work tack. It's kind of like cleaning your room when you're a kid. You just didn't want to do it. But I clean it and make sure it's in good shape. And I'll do that for each piece. And then after I'm done, I will assemble it back together. And again, make sure it's in good working. You can always take your tack, your leather, and you can bend it to make sure it doesn't crack. And if it doesn't crack, you're in good shape. And a lot of times sweat will cause the leather to deteriorate and come apart. So you just want to make sure that's in good working order. All right, now we're going to talk about cleaning our bits. I clean my bits probably maybe once a month. I try to. But a good way to clean them is some warm soapy water, and again, another rag. You can dip your rag in there. You can dip the bit in a bucket with warm soapy water. Also, a good way to clean them is with a little bit of vinegar or a pinch of baking soda. You can put that in your water, dip your bits in there. That serves as like an antibacterial for the bit. But again, you just want to get them soapy or some kind of cleaning solution that won't hurt the bit, and just clean the residue and buildup that gets around the mouthpiece and down the shanks and stuff. And of course, this is a Western bit. This will be our mouthpiece with a small correction port in it. These are our shanks, and this is where the bridle attaches at the top, and your reins go down here, and your chin strap would go behind here. So moving right along, I'm going to move to something a little different. I'm going to move along to brushes. How many clean your brushes at home? I found that through the years that cleaning brushes is very easy, and I usually take a bucket of water and I pour a little bit of Clorox in there, and then I just dump my brushes down there, and I maybe leave them for an hour or so, and I come back and I take them out, and they are amazingly clean. But the trick is you want to make sure you clean them out, you spray them off super good to get all the Clorox and everything out of there, because you don't want to get any Clorox on your horse. And then after that, we're going to move along to our girth that we would use on our saddle. I like to use a neoprene girth. Number one, after I get finished riding, I can take my hose and I can spray the girth off. And then I have a place in my wash bin I just hang them so they can dry until my next use. So I'm going to give you some comparisons about dirty and clean tack. This is a bridle that has been, this is the reins, as you can see, are pretty dirty. And this is the other part, the actual headstall part of the bridle that I've already cleaned. But this bridle has been sitting for several years, just hanging. It's a pretty nice bridle, but it's, as you can see, it's just really dirty and got a bunch of mold and mildew and dirt buildup on it. So these, like I said, this is the reins of the bridle, and I'm going to lay those down there. But this is the clean part of the bridle. This is the same bridle, and I have already taken my cleaner, and like I mentioned earlier, I sprayed it down, and I took my rag, and I just wiped it. And I had to do it several times, and this bridle, the buckles were really, really corroded. So I just took a lot of spray cleaner, and I sprayed all around the buckle, and then I just worked it back and forth so I got it loosened up. So right now we're going to put this bridle back together so you can see all the parts of the bridle. Again, this would be your crown piece. This is the brow band of the bridle, and it slides right back on there like that. Then we're going to take a cheek piece that we mentioned earlier. This is it has two cheek pieces, and we're just going to attach them back to the bridle like this. And the other one here. I don't know if I mentioned this is an English or hunter bridle. So that's your cheek pieces. And now we're going to attach, hunter bridles have what we call a nose band or a cavesson. And we're going to run the cavesson on the inside here and put it back together. Pretty simple. If you take your bridle apart and you don't remember, you have a hard time remembering where it goes, you may want to label it. But it's pretty simple to do. We're going to attach this. So this bridle is pretty much back together, except for the dirty reins that I left on the floor. And also this bridle would have what you call a throat latch. That's the part that goes underneath the throat, and it attaches here to ensure the bridle does not come off the horse's head. And the only thing this bridle is missing is a bit, and the bit would attach here on the end of the cheek pieces. All right, we're going to move right along to our show tack. Show tack is very expensive, so we want to keep that clean. I do a little better job of keeping my show tack clean and tip-top shape than I do I have to be honest, my work tack. But this is my show halter, and I have found that these silver polishing claws work really good on the silver. And these can be purchased pretty much anywhere in a jewelry section of, like I believe I got these from Walmart. But the inside of them you can take, as you can see, this one's pretty well used and it still works really good. But I take the inside of the cloth and I go over the silver just like this, and until I see that it's pretty clean. And then the outside, you can see the tarnish that I got off of that. And then I take the outside of the cloth, which is like a bucket, and I go back over it to give that shine. This halter here was pretty clean when I took it out this morning, but there you go. You can maybe see a little bit of the difference from the nose piece to the cheek piece. But this is a bridle that I had. It's been sitting for several years, and I took it completely apart. And as you can see, these are the two cheek pieces. Hopefully you can see the difference. We'll get a close-up here in a minute. But I cleaned this one with polishing rag, and it took me a few minutes. I kept going over it and over it, and then I buffed it out, and it's pretty clean. This one has not been cleaned, and you can see the difference. That polishing cloth really did a good job on it. Of course, the leather still needs to be cleaned. And when I clean my show tack, I don't really take and spray the tack down because you don't want to get the spray on the silver. I usually take my rag and I'll spray some cleaner on my rag, and then I just kind of go over the leather part of on the show tack, because again, I don't want to get that oily cleaner on my silver. If you do, it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. You can go back over it and clean it again with this polishing cloth. A good rule of thumb that I always like to have, I keep my show halter and my bridles in a carrying case. These keep them protected from all the elements. A lot of shows that we go to, we are there for 2 or 3 days and we're in tack stalls. So I usually keep this hung up in my tack stall at a show, and I keep all my stuff stored in there so it stays good and clean throughout the show. But again, that's a good rule to have. I've got several of these bags. I have one for my show halter and one for my show bridle. And that's pretty much it. Again, here's your lead shank for your halter. And I would just take, again, and spray the rag with our cloth with cleaner and wipe down the lead shank. You don't want to get this really oily because this is what's going to get in your hands. And you don't want it slipping through your hands at the show. And pretty much these are stainless steel chains, and they stay pretty clean alone. You can wipe them off if you want. But that's about it for the show tack end of it. And we'll try to get some close-ups of the difference between dirty and clean and how well that cleaning cloth did. And there's also several other silver cleaning things out there when you're cleaning your silver. I highly recommend that you Google the brand of tack that you have and see what the maker of the tack recommends, because there's different leathers, there's different silvers. I know this is silver plated, so it cleans up pretty good, or it's sterling and it cleans really well, but I would recommend you calling the manufacturer of your tack and getting what they recommend to clean it with, because all leathers are a little different. All right, we're going to show a comparison of the dirty and clean silver here. These are 2 cheap pieces off of my show bridle. As you can see, this one is completely clean. I cleaned the entire thing. I have not cleaned the leather very well, but I did clean the silver. This one has not been cleaned well. One side of this has been cleaned, and you can take this cloth and just go down the silver. This one's going to take a lot because it is dirty. And you just, after you do that, you can come back and you can buff it, and it should turn out just like this. Here's the crown piece to this head stall, and these are that's a double ear head stall. And as you can see, one side is clean and one side is dirty. I have cleaned this side. It needs a little more cleaning, but it looks a little better than this side. This bridle would attach on either side here, and that is a show head stall, and your bit would attach here, and they would slide. This would slide over that ball there too. Making sure it doesn't come off. One other thing I wanted to mention really quick, we were talking about inspecting your bridles. This bridle here has a little bit of age on it, and it has a little bit of life left, and I still use it. Of course, you can see where over the years the keeper has come apart, and the bridle the leather's cracking, but I can feel it, it still feels good, so I'm going to use it a little while longer, but that's a good way. A good thing for you to do is to inspect your tack before you use it, just to make sure it's not cracking, but this one seems to be in good order. It may be getting a little brittle up here, but I'll keep an eye on it. But just inspect your tack before you use it, and that's a good thing to do when you clean it. All right, now we're going to clean our saddles. I'm going to start with my work saddle. I'll be honest, again, I don't clean it like I should, but what I usually do, I just either take a warm wet rag or in my cleaner. I can spray my cleaner on it, and I'll just wipe it off. This is a slick saddle, it's a rough out saddle, so it's kind of hard to clean anyway, but I try to keep it clean a little bit and keep the leather condition. One thing we want to do when we're doing our saddles, we want to, can you identify your parts? So of course, this is our seat, this is the cantle, this is the pommel, and here would be the gullet, our saddle horn. This is our latigo keeper, our tie strap keeper. This is the latigo that you tie your cinch with. This would be our fenders, our stirrups here, and this is the back skirt. This is a back D-rigging. This is the front D-rigging. That's pretty much it as far as cleaning our work saddle. I do spray it off and with leather cleaner and conditioner, and like I say, I'll just wipe it off and keep it as clean as possible. And again, it's a good idea to clean your tack so you can make sure nothing is, especially your stirrups, you want to make sure they're not cracked and nothing's coming apart down here because you don't want to lose a stirrup. And especially your tie straps. This is your your latigo or your tie, your cinch strap, and of course the one on the other side, which you can see here better, is your off billet. And you want to make sure that's in good working order because you definitely don't want your cinch to break. All right, we're going to move over to our show saddle. Again, I would highly recommend that you Google or call the company that made your saddle to find out how they recommend you clean your saddle. And before I did this video, I did a little research, and each saddle maker recommends a little different process as far as cleaning the saddle. This is a light wool saddle, so if I go spraying a bunch of leather cleaner like this on it, it's going to darken it up. And I don't want to darken it up. I want it to stay as light as possible. And again, our handy silver cleaning cloth here, you can just go right down and you just clean the silver like this, and it does pretty good. This one has these little beads, which can be a bear to clean sometimes, but you just have to take your time. And then again, we come back and we buff it out like this, and it should clean up pretty good. This saddle has a lot of silver on it, so it's going to take this a little time consuming, but it's a good thing to do during this downtime that we have. But again, you want to inspect your show saddle just like you do your work saddle, because you do not want to get in the show pen and your billet break, your cinch, or anything else go wrong, because that can lead for pretty much disqualification. Another good thing is I showed you earlier about the storage bags for the headstalls and the halters, but this is a storage bag for a saddle, and it pretty much zips up all the way around, as you can see. And I keep my saddle stored in this to keep it clean and out of, away from dirt, because you can see the outside of this bag is pretty dirty from shows and just being stored. But I hope my tips for you today have come in handy, and that's all for today's edition of Live with Currituck.
All right, so the best laid plans, what can you do? Apparently the wind's blowing a little too hard.
Good morning, my name is Tom here.
Sorry about that. Apparently the wind's blowing a little too hard in Tom's location, and his internet has dropped, but we do have a few questions that have been submitted via our live chat. So our first question was, what other silver cleaners can you use? So Tom talked about silver cleaners on his show tack and equipment, and he showed that silver cleaning cloth, and certainly that can be used. And then also really any other cleaner that's appropriate for cleaning sterling silver dinnerware. If you have sterling on your show tack, you can use anything that's approved for cleaning that sterling dinnerware. You do want to be careful not to get it on the leather and those types of things. But other silver cleaners can certainly be used. And then we also had another question about how often you clean your show tack, after every show or once a season. So this probably varies from person to person, and I'm sure there's a better research-based answer, but just to give you from personal experience, and I feel like Tom would tell you the same thing, certainly after every show, you want to wipe down your show tack. There's a ton of dust as you're going through the rings that gets kicked up in there and dirties your equipment, so you certainly want to wipe it down after every show. And then typically before your next show, you give it the good cleaning with the leather conditioners and the silver cleaner and those types of things. So a light wipe down after every show, and then a thorough cleaning before you head back in the show ring to make sure that everything's presentable. All right, so unless we have any further questions, as Tom said, that's it for today's edition of Live from Currituck Extension. And we thank you guys for joining in on Facebook and on YouTube. Hopefully that worked out well for you. Make sure you check the description below for links to our social media sites and our evaluation from today's class. If you would, please, please, please click on that evaluation. Fill it out for us. It's only 5 questions, and it'll allow you to give us some input on how we did and what you would like to see out of future classes. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be starting a garden, and Adam Formello will be leading that live from Currituck Extension. He's our ag agent. So that's 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. Hopefully we will get, oh, look at there. Look who's back. So 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, we'll have Adam on starting a garden. Don't forget to join us. And Tom, I'm sorry you missed the last half, but I'm glad your internet is back up. It was great seeing you face to face, buddy.
All right. Thanks.
All right, everybody. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 11:30. Have a great day.